everybody? It's your man Poppahack back here again on another episode of Life in Stereo with my main man Payday on the Beat Bob, and we brought back Aaron Gothop Romeo once again.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back.
We're almost out of our budget, man. We got to get him a chicken sandwich every time he shows up.
Yeah, it's getting to that point, man. It's getting to that point. This episode, we are going to focus on men's mental health, their suicide rate, not only throughout the year, but mainly during the holiday season. It's a hell of a lot higher. Sucks when, obviously people kill themselves and they're going through shit.
Oh, yeah.
They don't reach out to talk to people, or if they do try to reach out to talk to people, that people don't help them or they don't take them as serious, and then they sadly end up taking their life. It sucks, man. People off themselves one way or another, and it's just, it's really unfortunate. Let's look at some of these statistics. It says 49,000 people commit suicide on average.
That's insane. That's
year.
Hard to recollect.
This is all only in the United States also. So on average, 49,000 people have committed suicide. 80% of them are men.
Wow.
And then another 75% of that comes from Halloween till New Year's. So just think of that.
3 months, like the last quarter of the year.
Yeah. Well, that's like when all the major holidays are too. Mm. So I'm not going to say this is like the number one cause, but a lot of them, the stats on here. This is coming from the CDC too, by the way. This isn't just some made up crap. This is this is from the CDC, which they do make up shit too, but this is something more serious.
About as accurate as you can get.
Yeah, for something. Yeah. A lot of them that did leave suicide notes. Most of them blame the mother for keeping the children from them, and it upsets them, and it breaks their heart, obviously, enough that they're sick and tired of going through this type of pain. I went through it when me and Kara were fighting and arguing for years and years and years, the bickering, the back and forth, man. I thought about it multiple times. I was going to go through with it a couple times. Very thankful and grateful that I didn't. I'm thankful for the friends who I called to talk to, and they stayed up on the phone with me in the middle of the night. They dealt with me on my drunk rants and rages, and Bobby was there with me multiple times through thick and thin. I had X was there, Forketic was there, Dante was there. I had a very, very good support system that made a lot of sense and convinced me that I will get through the bullshit. It's better with me here.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it wasn't. To me, it wasn't. It sucked. It hurts. And even thinking back sucks. But I'm here. I got my daughter. I got my sons all the time. I'm very happy again in life. Everything's good, man. I'm so happy I never decided to do it. But it was a really shitty time, and it was a really shitty feeling, thinking that nobody cared and that everything would be better in the world in general without me, and it didn't matter if I was around or not. That sucks, man. People who go through that and think about that, you're not alone. Talk to somebody, talk to a friend, talk to a stranger, whoever the hell you can talk to anybody. There's the suicide hotline, call people, reach out. There's help everywhere. You don't want to be alone. Just go outside, go sit at a bus stop. There's always people around somewhere, everywhere. You can call us. You can reach out to us here at Life in Stereo. We'll talk to you. We can stop doing what we're doing. Send us an email, comment on our page, whatever you need. There's help here. One of us will talk to you or get back to you. We roughly check our emails constantly. We get all of our notifications. We check all of our messages constantly. You can reach out. There's always help everywhere. It's not the end of the world, man. You don't have to think that way. It doesn't have to be like that. The world is better with you here. Someone loves you regardless of you feeling like someone doesn't love you, or no matter how low you are, somebody loves you. These stats are crazy, man. Out of the 49,000 people, it's one death every 11 minutes. Think of that shit, dude. One person commit
Yeah.
suicide
By the end
every
of this
11
podcast,
minutes.
a few of them are already going to be gone.
Yeah. By the end of this podcast, multiple people have sadly met their demise and committed suicide. It's crazy. Like Robin Williams killed himself. One of the happiest people ever. Bob,
Philip Seymour
the
Linkin
singer
Park
of
dude?
Chester. What's his last name?
Bennington, Chester Bennington,
Yeah,
Lincoln Park,
dude.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's plenty of people that like were sad and miserable and killed. Chris Farley essentially killed himself. Yeah, he had a heart attack, but his was depression. His was through drugs and alcohol. Like I was a maniac drinking all the way I did. Like, and it's
not
and the worst thing about it is when like people they don't know that you're feeling that way because I never told nobody. But the way I dealt with it and coped with it is I literally just drank and hung out with my friends. Like, and I always had somebody different to drink with constantly because there are always people out in the world drinking. Whether you go sit at a bar or just call someone to drink. I was drinking with different people 7 days a week, all the time because I didn't want to be alone. I was afraid to be alone for such a long time. Like, dude, it sucked, man. It was horrible. It was awful. It says 13.2 million people seriously think about suicide.
Oh yeah, that's the truth. I believe that. That's
3.8 million people plan to actually go through with their suicide.
Wow.
So that number, I mean, think if you compare those two numbers, 10 million people just think about it. That's not absolutely terrible if you look at it that way. Like, you to think about it.
Yeah, if some of them are like writing a movie, then it's okay.
They're writing
thinking about it,
or a song,
it.
Or a song.
Yeah, song.
You put in a song.
Yeah. That's
my point is there's lots of things that influence people to even have that thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, man.
You go to like a counselor or something, and they ask you, "Are you having suicidal thoughts?" I'm like, "Well, I have never really thought of it, like, but I am now."
Now that you put it in my head, like I do think about that now. Like I'm going to. Like they can't read your mind, so they're just trying to do their job to prevent that, to help you, get you on medication or whatever.
Yeah, see, I have an odd like thought process on the whole suicide and stuff. Like I don't like when you're driving and you see a billboard that says like suicide hotline, and you're with your kids, they're like, what is that? Like I think it's more of like suicide, something that you learn.
Yeah, suicide's for quitters.
Yeah, because if you want to commit suicide, the first thing you do is think of a way that you saw or learned that it happened, and now you're just recreating it. Like, you know what I mean?
Could be,
like, so I don't like those signs, those billboards, the thoughts that they put in kids' heads. Like, I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. Like, because it's weird. I used to think too a lot that suicide was if you're telling somebody about it, suicide is more of an attention getter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, I'm going to commit suicide. Please pay attention to me. I used to think of that a lot. Like, I really thought of it that way.
Yeah, people were like, call me back, or I'm going to kill myself. Like,
yeah, shit like that. Or I'm going to go sit in the middle of the street and hope a car runs me, like crap like that. Like, that could also be like an act of desperation where, like, they feel weak and pathetic and they don't know how to ask for help, too. So, like, it's almost like the boy who cried wolf. Like, you can only say you're going to do that so many times where I'm just like, all right, leave me the fuck alone. Like, and it's suck and it's sad to say that because if something were to finally happen, then you're like, damn, they reached out to me and I blew them the fuck off. But they also reached out to me 50 other times previously and nothing ever happened to you too. So like, it's like one of those catch-22 situations. You're screwed either way. But so back to those numbers.
Back to FYI. If any of my buddies told me, "Oh, I'm gonna kill myself," whatever, the back and forth stuff. If the first time I see them in public, backhanding them, like first thing I'm gonna do. Yeah, the first thing I'm gonna do. Don't put that on me. Like, why are you gonna put that on me? Like,
maybe they thought you could convince them out. Yeah, like you could figure something out. Like, I don't know. Maybe they thought you'd make them feel better.
I'll reach out one time. After that, you're getting hit with a backhand.
I mean, honestly, no, that's like a fair thing. Like, like I have a friend. I have a good friend who I work with. I've hung out with him outside of work too. He's not just a work friend. I talk to him every day, even like when he doesn't come to work or I don't go to work. He'll like message me like, "Hey, what's up? How are you feeling? Are you okay?" Blah blah blah. He was a drug user. He's open about it. He talks about it. He's been sober for a while now, and we'll talk about certain situations at work and everything. And he brings up like, "Yeah, I'll just get high again." Like that's like his go-to thing. And like I tell him, I'm like, "Dude, I promise you, like I respect you enough as." He's essentially a single dad too, which that's why I get upset about this. But I respect him enough that if I knew he was getting high, I told him I was like, I will I will beat the shit out of you, and that's messed up, but that's like the way I'm showing love. I'm gonna beat you up, like you don't need to get high.
Tough love, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys watched, but what was the show with the Gallaghers and they were all crazy? I can't think of the name.
Shameless. Shameless.
The way Carl Gallagher had got all the people sober, he handcuffed them in their basement, and they're like paid him thousands of dollars. He would literally handcuff people in his basement and give them a bucket to piss in and make them peanut butter jelly sandwiches every day. And that was all they got. And he would leave them down there for like
that's
a week.
How you have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, like he would do stuff like that. Like I fortunately dated a drug addict, but she wasn't on drugs when we first got together. Bobby, you were there for all those crazy nights of arguing and fighting. And one bad night, me, Bobby, and Steve. This was kind of sort of like in my depression era, as I like to call it, where I was drinking constantly, all that. Bobby and Steve come over our apartment when I lived over in Carnegie, and we're just drinking. Actually, I don't even remember where we started. We might have even started at your house or something. I can't remember. My girlfriend at the time, she was at work. And so we're hanging out at the apartment. We're drinking. We get absolutely freaking hammered. I think we were drinking liquor too at that time.
Yeah, we were drinking a little bit of everything, but we were about to start playing cards. And then she calls and she was like in a really bad mood. And she wanted us to leave.
Yeah, like
I remember
she knew we were at the apartment drinking. She knew we were there hanging out, and her job was right down the street from there, Aaron. So me, Bobby, and Steve were literally sitting at the dining room table, like in the kitchen, like we're drinking and hanging out. We're just about to start playing cards. She calls, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, me, Bobby, and Steve were sitting at the house drinking and blah blah blah," and she like lost her shit and went berserk. But now I know it's because she was on pills and heroin at the time, and she didn't have nothing, and she was trying to come home and and she was all pissed off, and she come home and like I think she came home like an hour or two later or something, like when her shift ended. But me, Bobby, and Steve were absolutely ripped in the fucking kitchen, and she's like she's physically fighting me and attacking me, like scratching me, punching me, throwing pots and pans and shit.
Yeah, they started fighting. I leave. I run out of there. I'm like,
Bobby completely left. He completely abandoned ship.
I'm like diagonal across the street, sitting in my car, watching the building.
We're up on the second floor too. We're up on the second.
I'm scoping out the place, like I can see like movement behind like the curtains and stuff. Steve's still in there.
Yeah, Steve is still in there with me.
In there.
So she goes to the bedroom, which is like down the hallway around the corner, and she's still arguing and fighting with me. And she's like, "I'm calling the cops on you idiots, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Go ahead. I live here. Like, call the cops. We're not doing nothing. We're drinking and hanging out." She's like bickering, going berserk. So I finally call her out. Like, "Oh, you just want some fucking pills, you junkie, blah, 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 blah." Big fucking mistake. Of course, because we're the bad guys because we're drinking in the cops' eyes. She grabs a baseball bat and swings for the fences, bro. Barry Bonds me. And this was an aluminum bat, rock solid, big as hell. I don't know still to this day how Steve just stuck his hand up and caught the bat. It was literally, he stuck his hand up, caught the bat, and I still got hit in the head. Like his hand still hit my head from her force. But Steve stopped it, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I look, and all I see is the baseball bat here in Steve's hand and her. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, lost my mind, threw the bat. We started arguing, fighting. She's punching me. I throw her. The cops get called. this point,
no.
at this
Oh,
point,
no.
she's staying in the bedroom, not coming out, and I told her, I'm like, yo, the cops are here, and she's like, go deal with them. I'm like,
I'm out in
not
my
talking to
I'm out
the
in my
cops.
car. You know, I can still see the house. Like I'm texting them like, hey, the cops just got here. like
Yeah.
I was like, they just got the spotlight. They're shining it in your windows.
And she's not answering. She called the cops and she's not answering, so that's making the whole situation worse. I'm not answering the damn door. I gotta go down. I gotta answer, open my door, and then go down a flight of stairs and answer the door. Not happening. Not a cold chance in hell happening. Steve is like, I'll go talk to them. It'll be okay. I'm like, Steve, no, shut
He
up
was
and
the
stay
most
here.
messed up out of all of us.
Yeah, he's absolutely hammered because Steve was way, he was fucked in his head, like mentally too at that point in time. And we were just all fucked up in our life. Actually, we were all in shitty depression parts of our life. But Steve goes out and down there and starts talking to them. Steve lets them in, so they drag me out the damn house.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm outside, and I thought I was going to jail. I'm outside, and they're asking what happened, and we're explaining the situation, and I'm telling them, and I'm like, yo, no, like I live here, blah blah blah, all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're like for real ready to cuff us and take us to jail. Bobby's still across the street.
I didn't even come to check on them. I was good.
Bobby's cool. He's in his car. Steve always talks entirely too much and thinks that he can fix everything.
Yeah, he thinks he can talk his way out of anything.
Out of 1,000,000 times, 999,000 times, Steve will make the situation worse. This one time, Steve actually talking, this one time, Steve talking nonstop, saved us. One of the cops ended up being a football player who Steve's dad coached. Soon as they put two and two together and realized who Steve was and who Steve's dad was, it was a complete 180. The cops were on our side and they were cool as hell, and they were like, all right, are you going anywhere? And we were like, yep, our friend's right across the street.
They point right at me. I'm in there. I'm like,
we're like our friend, because he didn't know what was going on.
I turned off the headlights.
We're like, he's right over there, but he's scared. And he was like, they were like, all right, just get the hell out of here for tonight. And they let us go. Like, and we got away. And that, like,
so she was trying to get you like in trouble.
Yeah. I moved out like shortly after that. But her whole messaging me, calling me, I'm gonna kill myself and I hate the world, and all that shit went on for a year. For a whole entire year at least. It just continued to go on and go on. And it was a nightmare. Like, me and Bobby would be hanging out and my phone would be blowing up every 10 seconds. She had different numbers, different calling apps she would call me.
I've had females do that to me too, like calling apps and trying to disguise the phone number.
Dude. Yeah. It got so bad, she created a PlayStation account and messaged me on PlayStation. She was emailing me. She was messaging friends who I've been friends with since like kindergarten, but I don't talk to, like just associates I went to school with. And they would message me and they would send me the screenshots of it. Like, dude, it was crazy. It got so bad. She knew my password on Verizon and she would log on and send me messages. They would pop up on my TV. Like, messages would pop up like, call me or I'm going to kill myself right now. Like, I'm like, dude, Jesus. Like, it was an entire shit show. And like now, yeah, it sucks. I mean, I know it was because she was on drugs and all that stuff and everything. And I don't ever wish bad on anybody. Like, get healthy, be cool. Like, to my acknowledgement, she's still alive. Me and Bobby had another friend who she said multiple times she was going to kill herself, and she was on drugs, and she sadly passed away. Bobby, she didn't kill herself though, did she? She
substance abuse and
suicide and drugs, man. It's
the chemicals.
She was always cool to hang out with and everything. She was always down to do anything. Like, she'd come to the bars, play games with us, do whatever. Like, she was a really cool person. We actually had a lot of fun. So one time, so we'd go over her house, Aaron, all right? And we'd go over
Oh,
her
yeah.
house and we'd hang out. We'd smoke weed and drink and bullshit, play cards, watch movies, whatever. And she would have to get up and go to work. And it would be like, I don't know, probably like say 4:35 in the morning. She would leave to go to work. And me and Bobby we'd stay at the house. And Steve, we'd be at the house. We'd be hanging out, partying still, drinking all that shit. One time, for some random reason, I don't know why I came up with the idea. We were like, all right, we're going to leave. But we turned every single item in her house completely upside down. Everything. I'm talking about canned goods in the fridge, her couch, her TV, her computer.
That's hilarious.
Every item, picture frames on the walls, everything in her cabinet, we would turn upside down. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, her clothes hanging in the closet. We turned every single item in her house completely upside down. No food in the freezer for no reason. We just did it just because that was just the goofy, dumb, funny stuff that we did. And she just like laughed about it. She thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Like she was a cool person. And it's just sadly she had a freaking drug problem. We stopped talking to her, and then we randomly reconnected with her, and she came and hung out with us and all that. And then it was like I think we talked to her for like what, maybe another 2-3 weeks, and then we didn't hear from her, and then we just saw
Yeah.
online she passed away or something.
Yeah,
Like it
she
was
was with
crazy.
the wrong crowd. Yeah.
Yeah,
We kind of just stopped.
yeah, we stopped. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, because she came down Brian's house the one night. We were hanging out working on the car and shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, we just kind of stopped talking to her. She's cool, but those are always rough subjects, and like especially right now this time of year, it's shitty time for people just in general.
The chemicals.
People are alone, and yeah, and like their thoughts just get the best of you. So if anybody out there is listening, you need any type of help or you're feeling any type of way at all, I know I said this in the beginning of the episode, reach out. You could hit any of us up, message us all. We appreciate it. We will show you the love and support that you show us each and every week. We want to wish you all a very happy holidays and a happy healthy holidays. And we want nothing but the best, and we love you guys all, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us, and we will be there to do it all to help you guys out. We are Life in Stereo, and we will see you later.